action. Well, the action started. We've got Mr. James Stewart trackside.
Hello, Matt.
Hello, James. How's it going on the ground?
Yeah, all seems quite good so far. Today is forecast as the dry day. There's rain incoming at some point tomorrow, I believe. So, waiting to see how much of an effect that has. So everybody getting the dry running that they can in today. We've got time practice 2. We just had the first heat of the front-wheel drive class run. And we're basically going to run through this round, then straight into a round of qualifying. That's all of the track action for today. Should give us some idea. We've had a few rounds of practice, open practice, and then sort of a reseeded practice up already. So usual suspects at the front. You can still see on the screen actually. We're just working on getting that refreshed, but you can see Bruno Coelho in modified, quickest over a 5-minute run. Eric Dankel sort of repeating his great performance from Eigen Schlankel, where you were a couple of weeks ago. Ronald Volker up there as well, Mark Reinhard, Michael Olowski, so usual suspects, usual guys up there.
Excellent. So getting into this final round of practice, tons of people watching online, which is awesome. Stephen RC, bonjour. Travis Carlisle says delayed. Of course, nothing's going to go as you expect. That's never how it is.
It's pretty much running to timetable. So everything is kind of as we expected it. I think guys here at the track are doing a pretty awesome job. It's very, very windy out there as well, actually. That's something we've noticed in practice. Not so much these front-wheel drive cars, but the touring cars, the shape that the body shells have developed into over the past couple of years makes them quite sort of aero-sensitive, and changes of direction to the wind. I don't know if you can see over there on the left of the shot, that blue gazebo. You can see how badly battered that's getting the wind thrown at it. So yeah, that's some sort of really heavy winds out there that are moving, throwing things about quite a lot, and it's affecting the cars out on the track.
And we've got Ash on our main camera at the end of the runway, so wondering if we're going to get any cars taking off down the end of the runway.
Quite possibly. So yeah, that main camera position that we have on screen at the moment, that's where Ash is. That's our moving camera that we have, and we'll be following the track action. We've got here, this is pretty much just underneath me and outside the window of where I can see. This is within the race control hut, so off down the main straight. It's a little bit odd for a European track in that we're running clockwise round the circuit as well. Yeah, it's for any drivers from the UK, it's very normal for them, but yeah, for everybody else, it's a bit of a culture shock. The other thing that's quite odd about this circuit is that the main straight is on the opposite side of the track to the driver's rostrum. More often than not, it's directly underneath you that you're heading down. So just a little bit of a quirks of local tracks for people to use and get used to. You can see some of the cars out there at the moment are still, these are still the front-wheel drive cars, front-wheel drive class as well. Again, if any of you from various areas are watching, this is a little different to some of the front-wheel drive classes. This is the sort of EFRA front-wheel drive class is gear ratio limited. Other places have a speed controller and motor and have a rev limit in place rather than a ratio limit. You'd need to do one or the other. Effectively, they cancel each other out if you do both of them. So just a little bit of a tweak to what some people will be used to used to seeing.
Cool. Our coverage for this event is obviously brought to you by Monaco RC, and we're thanks to Hobby Wing, Tony Sport, Lens Bodies, and X-Ray. It's of course an EFRA event, and we'll be crowning a selection of European champions, European champion, Euro Cup. And what is the front wheel drive? Is that a Euro Cup as well?
No, front wheel drive is a European Championship, so it will be the inaugural European Championship. It's the first time it's been a proper EFRA class. So yes, Formula One didn't attract enough entries to be considered a proper European Championship. So it's being run as a European Cup here this weekend as well, which is it's still a valid title. It just means that there's not the depth of field there to make it a full full competition, or considered to be a full European Championship on there.
Cool.
But,
so obviously, I was thinking for a while this was warm-up laps, but we're well underway, aren't we? I think the timing is frozen. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we're in race control. We have them working on that at the moment to get that feed established and back to us. But yeah, keeping an eye on that. So yeah, still seeing the modified timing appearing on the side of the screen. So this is actually the front wheel drive class that are out there and running. So I haven't got an update as to. I'm trying to think what this is going to be. This will be heat number 3, I believe, of them. Just having a quick look over towards the driver's rostrum, see if there's anybody I can recognise up there to get a clue of where I am. Not at the minute that I can see out there. But yes, this is the front-wheel drive class. So like we said, it's the inaugural front-wheel drive European Championship. That heat's just finished by the looks of it. So everybody pulling off the track. I can see Andy Murray up there now, so that would have been the top heat. Yeah, that would have been the top heat of front-wheel drive. Andy was running around sort of 5th place overall in seeding. So that's just gone out of the way. Unfortunately, we haven't got timing at the moment. We'll endeavour to get that sorted in time for qualifying proper to start, so that we can bring you all of the correct and updated action from there.
Still plenty of people watching online. Phoenix Favoretto says, let's give time to them. Oh, okay. That's people a bit impatient for us to get started, saying let's give them a chance. Yes, please do. And Guilherme W, bonjour, hello, all of our French viewers. Teddy Down says, hey, load of emojis. What else have we got? Model Bow King, hello to you. Jason, hello to you. Thank you for watching. Make sure you comment along in the stream so that we can involve you. This is a group exercise watching these European Championships, so we love having you guys on board. Chris Lemon is watching from Columbus, Ohio, with a big smile on my face. Thanks for doing what you do. It's literally our pleasure. So thank you for watching. Daily Dose of RC. Afternoon, Matt and James. Great shots. Hello to you, Daily Dose of RC. And Bjorn. Hey, Bjorn. Says, hey, guys. Hey, Bjorn. How you doing?
Hey, Bjorn. Not well. Here starting the master clock this weekend, but no, it's all going off. It looks like we've got the front-wheel drive class going out there now. I've just seen Darren Gale up on the rostrum, not front-wheel drive, Formula class. So this is a European Cup rather than a European Championship, but first heat of that going out, getting underway. Again, wind I can see picking up quite heavily out there. It's a crosswind that's sort of blowing as this car that we're watching now comes out onto the main straight. The wind is blowing pretty much pushing the car out to the left of the track, so they'll be quite difficult to get them turned in off the end of the main straight. Front-wheel drive Formula cars are rear-wheel drive cars anyway. You can just see a little bit of reluctance to turn. That tends to be a characteristic of the class anyway. They're quite long for their width, so they initially have a reluctance to initiate the turn, and then they sort of, once they're bit mid-corner, you get a little bit of over-rotation, but everybody managing to get round the circuit at the minute. Just having a look at the timing. Does still look to be stuck at the moment, so we're running a little bit blind as to who we are running with and following. Apologies for that. So we'll, as soon as we do have that, we'll be able to be a little bit more in-depth and involved with who we're picking up, who we're following, who we're running with. Just having a look and seeing on the rostrum. If we can move 2 cars back, I think that's Darren Gale from just from recognising him on the rostrum. So that is a sort of a multi-coloured car. Let me just see if I can pick him up. He is he's the old school Benetton coloured car out there. So he's the. Let's have a look and see if we can direct. There we go. We've got him. So good work there from Ash. Or terrible descriptions from me. Darren's just popped it onto its roof, lands back on its wheels again. Not really got a roof, have they, these Formula cars? Choice of lines coming down the main straight, you'll see from people. Most conventional one is running to the outside of that dotted white line that's out there. A little bit wide on the exit of the corner there from Darren, and a bit of over-rotation on the exit. There we go, and sort of running diagonally across that line from him. But making his way round okay. Car looks a little bit pointy around neutral. Doesn't look like the most confidence-inspiring thing to drive. I think speaking with a few of the drivers trackside, confidence seems to be the buzzword out there. There's plenty of people that look quick over a couple of laps, and we've seen that in the sort of seeding practice, not just in this Formula class, but in the spec class, the open modified class as well. It's having the confidence just to push that speed on and carry that speed for an entire 5 minutes without making a mistake. That seems to be the difficult thing for people to do. There's plenty of people who are able to hang together a few Hail Mary laps. It's putting together an entire run that seems to be a little bit more difficult for people.
It's ridiculously tail happy, isn't it? It's just...
It is. The Formula cars tend to do that anyway because they're really, really long. They understeer on the way in, and it's really tempting to wind on too much steering lock, and then as the speed bleeds off, the front tyres hook up and it sort of over-rotates on the exit of the corner. So trying to find a balance with them is really the key to being quick with these kind of cars. When we have a look at the top heats in a minute, what you'll see is they're almost using the entry speed to induce a slide in the front of the car, and then as the speed scrubs off, they're winding off the steering lock to so as not to get that over rotation as the front tyre digs in and the front tyre grips. So we're dangerously close to getting into nerdy conversations about the traction circle here. So I'll leave it at that point.
That's why people tune in. That's what they want.
Yeah. So it's a theory about the level of grip that a tyre has, and if a tyre has 100% grip, you can sort of choose how you use that. So if you have, you can have 100% forward drive, or you can have 100% steering lock, left or right, or you can have somewhere in between. So if you're using 50% steering lock, you can only have 50% forward drive applied, or side bite, or or braking force, or any one of those. And when you plot that out, it forms quite a neat circle. It's a bit of a nerdy thing, but it's essentially that's what your that's what the drivers are constantly balancing the cars on, and it's a bit of a tightrope to keep the car just within that circle, and not pushing it beyond the point of making the car slide. I think this needs to be a studio chat at some point, Matt, to explain this one through, and we can start drawing. We can start with diagrams and pictures, and lots of things about cars sliding. We can that sounds definitely something that we can get sorted. Just checking timing. Still not seeing an update after the end of modified, unfortunately.
So have they got timing on the timing screens around the track, or is it nowhere?
No, they have got timing on the screens around the track. So it's the
live streaming.
It's the live stream. It's the output to RCM that's the issue. So the local connection is okay. And in fact, from Ash's camera, there is a main screen over on the right-hand side of his shot. There's a very large timing screen. It's to the right of our position of the race control hub. There we go. There's a big overall timing screen. This is what the drivers are looking at. So we can see this is Group 4. Practice 2 running, practice Group 4 round 2. That's up there. So you can see some recognisable names up there. Andreas Stiebel, Valent, David Erbar, Thomas Grenz. So few recognisable drivers. That's not all of the timing information, but this gives us a brief idea of where everybody is running within the heat. That's what the drivers can see to give them an idea of what's going on. Unfortunately, that's not visible from my window, so I can't. Hang on. Looks like we now have some timing. So yes, Andreas Stiebler is leading this one away. It's who we're running with at the moment. So. There we go. We've got timing appearing on the screen. Gergo Valent, Michael Lipperheider, David Erbar, Chris Grenz, and Michael Hauptli. The 6 drivers taking part in this heat. Again, you can see Andreas, compared to the previous heat, we were just talking about the cars being a little bit tail happy. There's almost a little bit more understeer in Andreas's car. It kind of it manifests itself in looking a little bit like you're driving around the edge of a 50-pence piece, and it doesn't flow smoothly through the corner. It sort of steps around the corner. That seems to be working for Andreas. He's comfortably the quickest driver out there. He's the only driver to go sub 16 seconds on a lap. His best lap is a 15.948. His best lap's 15.880. Best lap from anybody else is Gergo Valent, who has done a 16.267. So, like 4/10 quicker almost than anybody else over a single lap. Starting to see, despite there only being 6 cars out on track, so the split being 6 seconds in a 15-second lap. He's already started catching and passing cars out there, so he's caught up like 9 seconds in the first 2 minutes. Give you some idea of the pace. I mean, Michael Hauptli, who he's just come past, his best lap's a 17.1. So that was it's like 1.3 seconds over a lap. So you can see it's quite easy to put a 16 second lap into people over that course of time. It's still practice, though. Still good opportunity for all of the drivers to really keep getting their eye in. They've obviously had a chance to reseed into their heats with these smaller classes. Not necessarily going to see massive jumps up and down the order. The seeding will be relatively accurate from the start. As you get more and more people entering a class, you get sort of much greater granularity, and need to spread that out a little bit, so you're more likely to be out with people that you haven't run with at all. And that's just a matter of scoping out where other people are quick on track, where you're quick on track, figuring out etiquette with other drivers, even down to the point of where you stand on the driver's rostrum. You don't really want to be moving from there once qualifying's started. So it's just figuring out where everybody is, where everybody wants to be, where people are quick, who's quick in your heat, who you need to be keeping an eye out for, who you can pick a toe up from, that kind of thing.
Daily Dose of RC says, are the Formula cars on rubber or foam? And Stefan Rauso says foam. I thought it was rubber. Is it foam?
They are. No, they look like foam tyres to me. Looking at the size of them, yes, they're foam tyres. Looking at these, the rubber.
I guess
tyres
that's much easier to control than rubber. Is it much more grippy?
They're different. Back to that slip angles thing again, and sort of the traction circle nerdy conversation. Foam tyres have multiple contact patches, so they're certainly more progressive to drive than a rubber tyre would be. A rubber tyre, once you've started the car sliding, it's quite difficult to get it back. With a foam tyre, it's much more progressive, and it's easier to catch when it does start sliding. So it's the only class running on foam tyres. Everybody else is on rubber tyres. Either the modified. There was a change to the control tyre after practice, after the warm-up meeting here. There was a material shortage that was identified, and the manufacturer wasn't able to supply a necessary quantity of tyres. They did the right thing. They flagged it at that point that it was going to be an issue for them, and consequently we've got a different control tyre for modified. Potentially, though, we're going to be looking at using wet tyres for a lot of the weekend.
Right. Tyres have been a bit, maybe too much of the story for this championship over the last few years. Do you think that's there's danger that could be the case again, or do you think we might be over that now?
It's always really difficult. I think with a I think if anybody. Whenever there's a control tyre, I think if anybody doesn't get the result that they were expecting, the tyres are an easy thing to point to. There's something that it's an element of the driver's package that they can't control. That's being given to them at random. So, it's a really difficult one. I think the best way of dealing with it is having, we've got a tyre supplier that's not associated with a manufacturer in any way. That probably removes a lot of the tinfoil hat sort of feelings. It's not that they're perfectly valid, because that's how people think and how they feel. It's a perception thing. But yes, if you're running on a tyre that's in some way aligned to a chassis manufacturer, it's always going to evoke those feelings that some people have got an advantage, regardless of what the tyre manufacturer does to get around that. It's an unavoidable consequence, I think, and the best way round it is to not use a tyre that's aligned to a manufacturer in some way.
Daily Dose says, was James a diplomat in a former life?
Yeah, what do you mean, possibly?
No idea. Anyway,
we
not
are.
sure.
What have we got? So we've got the first heat of the spec class out there on track at the moment. So who have we got? We've got Viktor Litvinenko, Zeljko Selman, Andrew Walters, all the way from Scotland. That's a bit of a drive from those guys. Laszlo Kiss-Orban, Vittoria Fendley. We have got Peter Knudsen. We've got Yaroslav Chris. And we have got Sindrik Damir out there on track at the moment. We are running with the lead car of Viktor Litvinenko at the moment. He is the blue and yellow car, running quite comfortably up front. Let's see if we can pick up the 5 car of Zeljko Selman. See if we can spot where he is. I think he's the all orange coloured car that's just headed down. He's just heading under the driver's rostrum now. There we go, we've got him. So this is the second place man. It's a little bit of push on the exit of the corner there. Again, that's a bit of a confidence thing. This is a very, very flowing circuit. Quite a lot of high-speed stuff. I mean, we were discussing yesterday. I was having a quick chat with Andy Murray, and we were saying with the formula, with the front-wheel drive class, it's almost possible to do a lap flat out. It's not the quickest way round, but you can probably do an entire lap without lifting. You see the car sort of wandering around a little bit there. I think that's really as a result of the wind just picking up. What we were saying earlier about these sort of latest generation of touring car body shells